Hello everyone. Please confirm if you all can hear me. Good evening everyone. I'm Dr. Tanushree and it's my pleasure to welcome you all to today's highly insightful and career-driven webinar titled Clinical Data Management, a fast-growing career in life sciences. This webinar is organized to provide you with a deep understanding of the growing field of clinical data management, its industry relevance, job roles, tools, and the career opportunities it holds for life science and pharmacy freshers. Today, we have a panel of experts who will help you understand the landscape, skills, and opportunities in the fast-growing domain. It's my privilege to introduce our esteemed speakers for the day. We have with us Ms. Tanuja Fernandes. Ms. Tanuja is a seasoned expert in clinical data management with over 2 decades of experience in pharmaceutical and clinical research industry. She currently serves as Director, Clinical Data Management at Fortrea, following key leadership roles at Labcorp, Covance, Paraxel, Cognizant, and Accenture. Her expertise spans data quality oversight, regulatory compliance, team management, and large-scale global clinical trials. With a proven track record in leading clinical data management operations across top CROs and pharma firms, she brings a wealth of industry insights and mentorship to aspiring professionals. We are thrilled to have Tanuja ma'am with us today to share her journey and valuable perspectives. Tanuja ma'am will walk us through the fundamentals of clinical data management, its industry relevance, global demand, and the key career opportunities in this domain. We warmly welcome you, ma'am, and look forward to gaining from your rich experience and insights.
Thank you.
Joining us next is Ms. Shweta Birajdar, an industry expert in regulatory affairs, clinical data management, and drug safety. Ms. Shweta's impressive career includes pivotal roles across renowned organizations, including clinical data management specialist at Tata Consultancy Services, where she developed training programs on GCP and data validation. Regulatory Affairs Manager at Regulatory Standards, Jeddah, leading a team of 29 associates, and Senior Analyst at EVERSANA and Regulatory Reporting Specialist at Aston Carter. She brings not just knowledge, but real-world insights that make her an excellent mentor for aspirants. Ms. Shweta will be taking session 2, where she will provide industry insights and discuss tools, skills, and pathway required to make career in field of CDM. We welcome you, ma'am. Dear attendees, please feel free to drop your questions in the chat box at any time during the webinar. We'll address them during the live Q&A session after all the speakers' presentations. So let's begin with session 1. Over to you, Tanuja ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Tanushri, for the wonderful introduction. So, hi everyone. I hope my screen is visible and I'm audible. Tanushri, can you confirm?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am. Your
thank
screen
you.
is visible, ma'am, and you're perfectly audible.
All right. Yeah. So, hi everyone. Good evening. As Tanushri introduced, I'm Tanuja Fernandes, a Director for Clinical Data Management at Fortrea. So, I'm here to talk about the overview of clinical data management with you all guys. Yeah. So, what is clinical research and clinical data management? Before we get into the clinical data management, let's understand what's clinical research. So, it's a study of new investigational drug that is planned to be introduced into the market. That is conducted, where we have the trials that are conducted in healthy and diseased volunteers. So we have a different phases of trials. One is discovery or the preclinical trial, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and we have phase 4. Okay, prior to the drug is gone into the market and the FDA approves. All right. So to understand what is preclinical, these are nothing but the non-clinical studies conducted in animals prior to human clinical trial begins. They aim at safety, efficacy, and feasibility before testing in the human. Phase 1, nothing but the trials that are conducted in a small group of healthy volunteers. Again, it aims at identifying the safe doses and potential side effects before moving to the next phase or the larger group of volunteers. Phase 1 is a smaller group of diseased volunteers, aims at safety and efficacy. Similarly, you have phase 3, that is a larger group of volunteers that aims at safety and efficacy. The phase 4, is a post-marketing surveillance, which is also called as post-marketing surveillance. This is conducted after the drug is introduced and approved in the market, to assess the long-term effectiveness. Okay, so this is all about the clinical research. Now, where do we belong as a clinical data management team within the clinical research? So it involves multiple departments and stakeholders. So you have clinical, starting from clinical operations, clinical data management, biostatistics, medical writing, pharmacovigilance, and document publishing, right? So once the protocol is approved, there is an investigator selection that happens, and then the approval process begins. You have the patient recruitment and the participation from the volunteers. The data is then entered, the patient data is then entered into the EDC. The data reviewers or the data management team reviews the entire data, and then statistical analysis happens and the document is published and finally submitted. So this is how the overall process goes in terms of the clinical research. So moving on to understanding what is clinical data management and the role of a clinical data management in clinical trials and drug development. So clinical data management is nothing but a process that involves in collecting of the data, reviewing and analyzing the data, and management of clinical trial data in compliance with the regulatory standards. So a clinical data manager is a role that he plays a key role in the entire stages of the study. Once the project is awarded and the protocol is finalized, he is involved into end-to-end project setup. Okay, so he's involved into study setup, conduct, and closeout of the clinical trial. So they are basically actively involved at all stages of clinical trial, right from inception to completion, which leads to generation of high quality, reliable, and statistically sound data. So if you look on my left hand side, there is a process that flows in terms of the clinical data management process. So we have the protocol that is finalized and approved, right? So once the protocol is finalized and approved, we have 12 weeks of time to build the database, which involves the system setup, database design, the screen design, and the edit check build, and all the study startup documents that are required for the phase of the project is being performed during this particular 2 weeks of time. And then we have the study that goes live. Okay, so 12 weeks from the final protocol to the go live, we have the 12 weeks time that goes into the database that runs into the production. All right. So once the database is ready and the data that is required to be entered into the database is ready, the sites enter the data into the EDC system. Okay, and then the patient visits happen, and all the data bases, the visit that happens is entered into the database. So then comes the part of a next role of a clinical data manager during the conduct phase. That is the data review, the discrepancy management, and the query management that happens. The clinical data manager raises the query wherever needed, identifies the discrepancies based on the guideline. Either he raises the query to the investigator further, or based on the guideline, if it is acceptable, he closes the query and awaits for a response and closes the query accordingly. Similarly, there are certain activities that are related to SAS reviews that are being performed if the study has specific vendor, third party vendor data that are collected, the vendor reconciliation happens. And the study has the adverse event and the concomitant medications or the medical history record that needs to be coded, right? Certain events that happen during the course of the study. So during that time, as per the guidelines, we need to have these medical terminologies that needs to be coded, which the medical coder or the medical coding team perform this activity. Similarly, there are continuous timelines or the milestone within the project, right, during the phase of the trial. So that is where we need to adhere to certain timelines. Those are done with an intent of, like, looking at the safety of the data or the critical of the data, or assessing the results or the primary and the secondary endpoint results. So the expectation will be to have the complete data clean, or, like, basis the visit cut, the data is being cleaned on an ongoing basis. So once we have the data clean, we need to
Dear attendees, we really apologize for the inconvenience. I think there's some technical issue. We'll resume the session in a minute. Dear attendees, meanwhile, if you have any questions, please feel free to post in the chat. We'll take up your questions in the end. I can see some questions already there in the chat. So as mentioned earlier, we will be taking, our experts will be taking these questions. We'll be answering these questions after the session 2. We are just trying to connect with our expert. I think there is some technical issue. We really apologize for the inconvenience and request you all to please wait for a minute. We'll resume the session as soon as possible. Thank you. I think so. We'll move over to the next session while our team connects with Tanuja ma'am. So I would like to invite Shweta Birajdar ma'am. Ma'am, we can proceed with your. We can start with your presentation. So you
Yeah,
can share your
let's
screen,
do it.
ma'am.
Hope the screen is visible properly.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Yeah,
Please proceed.
chalo. Let's start. Hi, good evening, everybody, and welcome to this webinar. Maybe due to some technical issues, we lost Tanuja ma'am. She'll be back with us today, just in some time. Okay. Though she had very good presentation for us and very informative session for us, but it's our sad part that we got disconnected from her. Anyways, until she resumes, we'll just learn about what are the job roles available, what are the tools that you need, what are the skills that you need, what are the career pathways to get into CDM and all those things, because I've already seen many of them have posted a few questions related to tools, skills, what education do they need to have, all those things. Well, let's start with a very basic thing. To get into CDM, nothing like you have to have a very hefty experience and all those things, but yeah, a proper science background is needed. Any life science graduate is eligible to enter into CDM. Now, what is CDM? Already Tanuja ma'am has explained clinical data management. I'll just start with overview of clinical data management so that it doesn't go out of the way, because that session got logged out. Okay, clinical data management. See, guys, for a drug, for a device, for an treatment, for any intervention to come into market, it takes years. There is years of studies happening. During these years of studies that are happening, there are ample amount of documents collected, and these documents are managed by none other than but clinical data management people. So this is how important we are. We are the decision makers in this industry, where we decide if the device, if the drug, if some new treatment, if some new intervention will enter the market or not. So we have this deciding power. So clinical data management, not only it's not just approving or QCing of the documents, but studying those documents and understanding how safe the drug, the device, the treatment, and all those things are safe and effective for human use. So, this is the main objective of CDA. Let us see what I have for y'all to serve in your plates today. Few basic tools that we require into CDM are now. Anybody will not have this access to these tools. Few people who are into CDM, working as CDM professionals, or who are undergoing some certification courses, will only have access to these tools. You will not find them for free use anywhere. So start. Let us start with the first thing, that is EDC system. EDC, if I could elaborate this in more detail, it is an electronic data capture system. As we know, today's world is a digital world. Before, the clinical trial data was manually captured, and because of which a lot of errors were happening, a lot of miscommunication was happening, and because of which many devices or drugs, even if they were effective enough, but they did not enter the market because the data that was entered manually was not effective enough. But since EDC came into picture, since last few years, we are having very good background in terms of CDM, and a lot of job opportunities are being available because of this EDC system. So electronic data capture system examples are Viva Vault, Medidata Rave, and Oracle Inform. Then comes CTMS, that is Clinical Trial Management System. So whatever data that we get, not only we enter, but we also manage them. So how do we manage them? With the help of these tools, Viva Vault CTMS, Medidata CTMS. These are not only the tools in the market, there are a lot of tools available, but these are few which are in demand these days. Then, to be into CDM, we also need to know a bit of coding, which is done through Metra and WhoDD. Now, WhoDD is WHO dictionary, drug dictionary. Then we also have tools for query management. Those are SAS, JReview, Oracle, RDC. Not only query management, coding, CTMS, and EDS, but we also have visualization tool, which helps us understand how this clinical trial will go and how can we manage them. So these tools are Power BI, Tableau, and Spotfire. Then we have few data standards tools which are with inbuilt compliances and which are easing our work as CDM professional, which are CDASH, SDTM, and ADAM. So these were few list of tools that we have in the market right now and are in demand. Now let us go to the next slide that I have for you all. That is key skills for CDM professional. Apart from having good communication skill, apart from having you being an expert in your vocabulary in English and all those things, being presentable, what are the different skills that you need to enter as a CDM professional? Let us see one by one. First is EDO. Let the skills are being divided into two parts. The first one is technical skills. Let us see what these technical skills are. First one is EDC operation, where you learn or know how to operate the EDC, that is electronic data capture. How do you capture the data? How do you put it into the system and all those things. Next in the list, we have data standards skills, where you standardize the data as per the regulations. Now, regulations, by regulations, we mean the regulations related to every country has different regulations, regulatory regulations. So, if you are a manufacturer who's in India, you will have different regulations. If you are a manufacturer who's based in Europe, you will have different regulations. So it is our job to look if the documents are as per the standards and as per the regulations or not. Third key skill that we need to have is coding skills, which we can learn through tools like Medra and WhoDD. Then SAE reconciliation. Now, what is this SAE reconciliation? Now, data is collected in two parts. One is at the clinical trial site, another is at the safety side. Now, safety side, we mean pharmacovigilance side. The same, I'll just quote this with an example. Say, for example, I am a patient who has been administered with certain drug, considered drug A, and after having that drug during clinical trials, I had a mild headache. Now, this same data will go to the pharmacovigilance team, also, that is the safety team, and the clinical team, also, that is the clinical trial team. And the data through which the way it is being navigated through to this two different teams is different, and whatever they want to extract for completing that particular case, they'll extract it. Now, because of this extraction, what happens is the data looks different in both the places, that is clinical site place also, and the safety, that is pharmacovigilance place also. What does this SAE reconciliation do? They collect the data from the safety team and clinical team, and they make a data that is a uniform data that is available for regulatory authorities for review. This is one skill that we learn during CDM, or this is one skill that a skill that we need to have in us for becoming a CDM professional. Then the basic regulatory knowledge is required for entry level jobs. GCP 21 CFR Part 11, we have GDPR, we have HIPAA, all those things. Also, a few knowledge related to which country has which regulatory body, the name of that regulatory body, all these few knowledgeable, or you can say academic things, are also required. Then what about the soft skills? These were the technical skills. I just told you all that skills are being divided into two parts, that is technical skills and soft skills. Now let us move to soft skills. Here, the first and very most important thing that we need to have in us is accuracy and attention to detail. If you all do not have this skill, you will not be able to survive into the CDM field. How accurately you analyze the data and with what attention do you find the findings in that data is important. Then we have communication and teamwork. Nowadays, communication skills is like anybody and everybody is good with this. Teamwork we learn when we get to enter a team. Then problem solving. This is one common skill that each and every field expects, and also CDM skills. CDM is also expecting the same skill. Then we have documentation skill, which means documenting each and everything what happens during a clinical trial, or document everything that we get in our plates, is a very important skill that is required into CDM. So these two skills, that is accuracy and attention to detail and documentation skills, will upskill your career like anything. If you'll have this skill in you with some CDM knowledge, you can enter the CDM field with a very growing, with a future which has a bright and growing days. So this is about the skills. What are the career pathways? What are the entry level jobs? What are the mid level jobs? And what are the expert level jobs? Let's see one by one. Entry level jobs, which you can enter just after finishing your life science degree. Now, like by life science, we mean BSc, MSc, Biotech, B Farm, and then we have BHMS, MBBS, all these things. Okay, whatever life science background you are, you can enter into CDM field. Now here you can have different job roles. Few common job roles are CDM trainee, data entry associates, and Medra coder. Now, talking about the salaries is almost the same for all three jobs. Now, few more job roles that are available for entry level people are clinical data management coordinator, clinical data recorder, clinical data analyst, all these things. So these are few entry level jobs that we have, which we can just join after finishing our degrees, life science degrees to be very particular. Then we have mid-level jobs, which you can enter once you have 1 to 2 years of experience into CDM field. The job roles are data coordinator, query management lead, SAE reconciliation. If you're more good into like speaking, training, and all those things, then mid-level jobs also include CDM trainer, all those things. Now, data coordinator, which means you get the data from the entry level people and pass it on to the expert level people. Query management team, again, you get to interact directly with the clinical trial people, also the safety team, also the manufacturer team. SAE specialist, where you actually connect, are a bridge between the clinical team and the safety team, where you collect the data and make it uniform. So these are a few mid-level jobs. Then we have senior level job, where you can work as a CDM manager, product project manager, department head, SME, high level trainer, and all those things. Once you have like years of experience, now this senior level jobs comes with a lot of experience, that is more than 5 to 7 years of experience. Apart from this, you also have CDM team lead, all regulatory information management manager, all these things. What are the alternate tracks through which you can get into CDM? If you all have these certifications in you all can get into CDM. That is SAS programming, CDIS standard specialist, regulatory data specialist. If you all even there might be few of them who have like after their degrees have may have completed such courses from wherever they have completed, they can even enter CDM. But few companies will consider you into entry level jobs, few companies will consider you into mid level jobs. You will not be allowed to enter senior level jobs whatever experience you have. Even if you have 10 years of experience with SAS programming, you will have to enter mid level jobs when you have to switch to CDM. So better start with CDM from the start only. Okay, there are a few. Let us just go to industry insights and trends that we are having into CDM. Now, this is not, I mean, cloud based EDC system is dominating not only in CDM but in our daily life also. So, because of this cloud based EDC system, we are actually able to store a lot of data. We are able to archive them and get back over those data whenever needed for reference. Then we have rise of e-source and variable integration, because of which what is happening is uh, getting feedbacks from the customers or patients electronically has rised, because of which CDM people are getting more and more jobs into this field also. And variable integration, by this we mean the devices which we wear. Let us just consider a smartwatch. Your smartwatch is giving data related to heart rate, your blood pressure levels, your sugar levels, and all those things, because of which manufacturers are able to design the drugs, the devices the way they want. Say, for example, you're wearing a brand watch. I'll not take any brand name. Say, for example, brand A, and this brand A is in collaboration with some manufacturer, say B. What this smartwatch brand people will do, they'll give your data to this manufacturer, and based on the data that they have received, they will understand what is the increasing need in the market, and they will design their drugs, their treatments, their devices as per this data. This is one example. If we could have other examples, are like giving surveys. You all get your YouTube surveys and all. Giving surveys also gives data not only to the manufacturer but to many different fields. Then we also have automation and AI in data cleaning, which has eased our life to next level. Then emphasis is on risk based monitoring, that is RBM, and remote monitoring, because of which what is happening is you are able to analyze the risk beforehand. We are able to understand what risk we are going to face in future because of this RBM method that we are having. Then growing demand for data is there, data traceability is there. Now growing demand for data, I mean growing demand for getting the data analyzed by an expert is increasing. If you are a CDM professional, you are into demand when any manufacturer wants to like actually get their data reviewed, want to understand if they will surpass these regulatory borders or not, if they will come into the market or not. So this is how important you are, even if you are. And a lot of remote jobs are available, because of which this industry is growing like anything. Let us have an insight on the job market and the salaries that are available. Let us not go into dollars, but just talk about our Indian rupees for now. The job role CDM associate, clinical data management associate, that is an entry level job, will have a CTC of 3 to 5 lakh per annum. Then a mid level job, that is CDM lead, will have a salary between the range of 6 to 12 lakhs per annum. CDM manager, which is an like expert level job, 12 to 20 lakhs per annum. I have already quoted you all the years that are required to have this job or the salary. Then we also have a career like alternative, that is SAS or CDS expert. So for entry level and mid level, the job roles that are available, the salary is not more than 15 lakhs per annum. Now, this salary is from the surveys that we have done with different companies, and the knowledge that you have, the way that you present in front of the interviewer, and the experience that you hold. Even if the person is having 3 to 4 years of experience and not able to answer the interview question, that person will not get 12 lakh per annum, right? So you are like, you need to be a pro when you are like presenting your skills and all. There are few certifications that you can see online and get them done. Let us now go to top employers that are available into CDM field. We have CROs like Icon, Paraxel, IQAR, LabCorp, Synons. We have pharma industries like Novartis, GSK, Pfizer, and AstraZeneca. We have tech providers which are actually providing us tools, which are Medidata, Oracle, and Viva. Indian firms which are leading nowadays are TCS, Cognizant, Wipro, and Bioclinica. Also, Bioclinica is now called as Quinzia, and we missed one name here, that is Fortrea, where we had our first speaker for the day. Fortrea is actually, and Fortrea, TCS, Cognizant, and Wipro are actually having n number of jobs when it comes to CDM. Bioclinica has divided itself, lately called as Quinzia, has divided itself into many different fields, because of which CDM jobs are not that available. Talking about getting back to CROs now, IQVIA, Paraxel, and Icon are giving work from home opportunities, a lot of work from home opportunities. So Icon, if I could like make a list of top 5 6 companies which could give you work from home are Icon, Paraxel, IQVIA, TCS, Cognizant, Wipro. Pharma industries will not give you work from home. Now depends on the work that you are performing for them. Let's just summarize whatever I spoke. As I told you all guys, CDM is a core pillar to clinical research. Because of CDM, people are able to, manufacturers are able to, CROs are able to keep up to the data, manage them, analyze them, store them, archive them. What they are able to perform what not task with CDM people. Then learning tools will have a benefit for y'all. CDM also offers both clinical and tech career tracks. Also, last but not the least, growing global demand is there with CDM, and it's an excellent career perspective. Before I just stop presenting my screen, I would like to like, degrees will never give you job, but skills will always give you job. Having done with a CDM certification course from wherever you all want to will give you better jobs. Biotecnika is also offering CDM courses available. The batch is going to start soon. You all can go to Biotecnika website and like actually enroll for learning more. So this is what I had for today for y'all. Hope this was like insightful for y'all and like engaging, and maybe many of your questions I have already answered through my PPTs. Let's like see if our ma'am, Tanuja ma'am, is there back with us. If not, let's move to like
Yes, I'm back.
question answer session. Yeah, welcome back, ma'am.
I'm so sorry. There's frequent disconnectivity of my network as well as power cut here due to rains. So I'm really sorry.
It's okay, ma'am, but we are glad that we have you again now. So, first of all, I
Yes.
would like to thank Shweta ma'am for such an insightful session. And as you all know that due to some technical issue, we lost connection with Tanuja ma'am earlier, but now she has rejoined now, and we are so happy to have you, ma'am, again with us. So, I kindly request you, ma'am, to resume your presentation. Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. So just let me know if you are able to see my screen now. Is
Yes, ma'am,
it
it's visible.
all right?
Yes.
Okay, so let me quickly finish from where I left before I get disconnected again. So I was at cleaning of the data. Now, so the data reviewers do the cleaning of the job in terms of description
I think we have lost connection with ma'am again. Our team is trying to connect with ma'am, Tanuja ma'am. Meanwhile, everyone, please feel free to post your queries in chat. I can see many chats already there, and I'm really happy to see that you are so interested in this clinical data management. Yeah, ma'am has joined again.
Can you hear me? All right.
Yeah, ma'am,
I'm
you're
really
audible. Please
sorry,
continue.
really sorry for this. Yeah. So yes, once all the data is clean, we are ready for locking of the study. And then there is the final data transfer that happens from the programming side. And then the lock happens. And then post the lock, there are certain activities that the data management team is still involved into closeout activities, that is archiving of the CRFs, and finally the decommissioning and sending the CD back to the clinical and the sponsor. So this is how the entire process of clinical data management is, where the clinical data manager involves right from the beginning until the completion of the project. Now, this, to meet this objective, certain best practices that are adopted to ensure that the data is complete, reliable, and processed accurately. This has been facilitated by software application. I believe you have already by now got to know what Shweta mentioned about certain EDC platforms, right? So we have the Rave, Inform, Viva platforms. Those are the certain generic platforms that are used across organizations, which is application that maintains an audit trail and provides easy identification and resolution of the data discrepancies. Now, to be compliant with, we have the electronic records that needs to be compliant with the code of federal regulation, that is CFR Part 11. Okay, to authenticate that, we have a unique username and password that is provided to each user that works on the database and the project. All right. So moving on to the data. So now, while we are working on the data, the patient data, it is very important that we maintain the data accuracy and compliance. So what exactly it means by data accuracy and compliance, and why is it so essential? So data accuracy and compliance are crucial in clinical data management, ensuring the integrity of research, upholding the ethical standards, and meeting regulatory requirements. So what exactly we mean by data accuracy? So data accuracy is essential for drawing valid conclusions from clinical trials and research studies. So as I mentioned in my initial discussion about that we have a milestone at every project, right? So during the interim, we have certain milestones or the deliverables, key deliverables that happen on the project to assess the safety and the efficacy of the data, or to assess the primary endpoint of the data. So from there, we do have the valid conclusion that are driven by the investigators. All right. So that is where it is very important for us to have the accurate data. So accurate data also enables the healthcare professionals or the physicians to make informed decisions about treatment strategies and patient management. So while a patient is taking the study drug intervention, we do see that adverse effects from the study drug. So that is where the physician is able to make an informed decision about the treatment strategy and the drug that is being given to the patient. So inaccurate data can also lead to incorrect diagnosis, inappropriate treatments, potential harm to the patients. So we have heard and seen that, like, most of the clinical, there are few clinical trials that fail and that go wrong, and that can impact or harm the patient's health. Also, it can lead to patient's death, right? So that is where it is very, very important that we have the correct diagnosis and the correct treatments given to the subjects, so that we are safeguarding the patient's health. Okay, and then maintaining data accuracy ensures the credibility and reliability of the research findings. So whatever data we are dealing with, we need to be credible for, and we need to ensure the quality is being taken care with utmost, right? So that's where it is important that we maintain the data accuracy. Similarly, accurate data allows better identification of trends and treatment effectiveness and patient outcomes, ultimately leading to improved patient care. So now coming to compliance, what is compliance? Compliance is something that safeguards patient safety and trial integrity. So clinical data management must adhere to stringent regulatory guidelines set by the bodies like FDA and EMA. Similarly, compliance ensures the clinical trials are conducted ethically and that patient safety is prioritized. So we know the mission or the vision of why we are working in an industry like clinical research, right? The ultimate mission should be on safeguarding the patient health, okay, and the patient safety is prioritized. So that's where it is very important that we ensure we are compliant, and the clinical trials are conducted ethically. Similarly, the data management process must be robust enough to withheld or withstand regulatory audits and inspections. So it is important that there are frequent or the regular audits and inspections conducted to assess the processes that are there within the data management, identify those gaps and fill in those gaps, and we adhere to all the standard operating procedures that are laid out within the data management process. Similarly, compliance measures like data validation and source data verification ensure integrity of the collected data. So all the data that is entered into the ED system needs to be compliant, right? To be compliant that we have entered the right data, the clinical team also does a source data verification and ensures the data entered in the EDC is in compliant with the data that is there in the source, and then they go ahead with verifying that data within the EDC system. And then compliance with regulatory standards are crucial for obtaining approvals for the new treatments and intervention. So in summary, that is, the data accuracy and compliance are very, very critical to safeguard the patient health and the safety trial integrity. All right. Moving on to the next one, some of the key stakeholders in pharmaceutical industry and drug development. All of you might have already heard what our pharmaceutical companies do, right? They're responsible for the drug development, manufacturing, and marketing, and they collaborate with the CROs and regulatory bodies. Similarly, CROs and the life sciences are crucial for managing the clinical trials. They provide the expertise in various stages of drug development and ensure regulatory compliance. And the regulatory bodies such as the FDA, Food and Drug Administration in the US, and European Medicines Agency in the Europe set standards, ensure compliance with drug development and marketing regulations. So I've just displayed here a few of the companies, pharma companies, the client companies, as well as the CROs who are actually dealing with the clinical trials and the clinical research data. Okay, so if you see here, Accenture, Cognizant, TCS, these are the companies, BPO industry, the IT industries, who also have the life sciences projects. Similarly, we have IQVIA and then Parexel, Fortrea, and many other like Icon. All these companies are the CROs, and the pharma companies like AstraZeneca, Cipla, Glenmark, and then Kedila. So these are the company, Novartis. These are the pharma companies which are also insourced. Um, uh, Insourced. They have the team of data management within the pharma company itself. Okay, who do the data management expertise there. All right. Now, looking forward, most of you must be always already looking for what's in store for you as a life science graduate, right? What's the career? What's the growth path within the clinical data management industry? So this is how it is laid out as a general within the organization. The entry level. Who are just passed out from the college, who have completed their life science graduate. So they are at entry level with 0 to 2 years of experience. So they would join the team as data reviewers. The role is data reviewer on the study, but their designation will start from the associate clinical data analyst, and senior clinical data analyst. Right. And then once they attain a good amount of experience with 2 to 4 years, they get into the role of senior clinical data reviewers on the study, which is clinical data specialist role. Okay, and then they get the expertise and the experience where they will be able to lead the study and get into the lead data reviewer role on the project, where they would be designated as senior clinical data specialist. So whatever is greater than 6 years of experience, 6+ years experience, I mean, it can go beyond 8+ as well, to get into the lead data manager role, who is accountable for the end-to-end data of the project from the study startup until the log. Okay, so he or she will be accountable for the entire life cycle of the project, who is the main role, who liaises with the client as well as the operational activities that are being performed within the clinical data management. Similarly, there is an opportunity once you gain a stronger experience at a lead data manager role, you can have an opportunity to get into the portfolio management or the line management role. Now, there are two curves here. One is you want to get into the individual contributor role, you can start from the entry until the portfolio management, which is titled differently in different organization as associate director, and so forth. Okay, if you want to really get into operation, you are very much keen at a people management and you aspire into the line management role, then it starts with the associate manager, senior manager, associate director, and then director and above. All right, so this is how the career path is laid out within the CDM industries. And just to give a brief about how I started with Accenture as a clinical data analyst. Then I grew into the team lead role, where I was very much keen into people management. So I got into people management, team lead, and then team manager, and then associate manager, senior manager, associate director today. Okay, so this is how, and you definitely can see a lot of growth and opportunities across organization. Lot companies are now coming to APAC region. Most of the pharma companies are outsourcing the job to India, and the pharma companies themselves are insourcing the DM work within the pharma companies, which are based out of India, specifically Bangalore, Hyderabad, Mumbai locations. Right, so this is how we definitely see a lot of growth career within the clinical data management. And not just clinical data management, if you have to look into life sciences overall as such, then you have pharmacovigilance, your medical writing. Then, like, if you want to get into programming, you can learn the programming language and, like, get into the programming as a stat programmer, biostatisticians, and then, like, TMF specialists. These are specific roles within the life sciences that you can explore. So you have a greater opportunities not just within India but also abroad. I think there are still good companies within outside European US region they hire specifically at the lead data manager roles. Okay, so this is what I wanted to just highlight on the career opportunities and the future scope for freshers and experienced. Yeah, the CDM journey so far. When I started, and when most of us started with clinical data management, it was paper studies. So it was basically the paper we used to enter. There was a data entry team who used to look at the paper CRF, enter into the database, and then the clinical discrepancy management process began. So over a period of time, there has been a lot of evolvement, and we saw the electronic data capture that happened. Paper is ruled out, and it directly we got into the EDC systems, right, where the site directly enters into the system, the data that is entered into the system, and the discrepancies are removed. And now, if you really look at, or over 1 year, we are hearing a lot of artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data science, blockchain technologies. We have evolved a lot, and there has been a lot of technologies that are being already been implemented across organizations with that intent of cost saving as well as efficient ways, right? So there are a lot of automations being done at query management, vendor management, then coding management. So all these are being fed into the system where a lot of efficiencies are being built, and this is where we see an advanced technology world. In the coming years we will definitely see a lot of things, but then yes, human minds are still needed to analyze certain data and work on certain specific activities which our knowledge cannot be taken by the machine, right? So that's what I would like to say, and that's what I had for today, and thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such a
So,
wonderful presentation, for such practical and informative presentation, ma'am.
Thank you so
So
much.
you're welcome, ma'am. So we'll now open the floor for Q&A session. So first question I'll take of Kinjal. So Kinjal wants to know, to get a job in CDM, do they ask for experience in the same field? Like, she has an industry experience of 4 years in genetics and wants to switch to CDM for growth. So, Tanuja ma'am, would you like to take up this question?
To get a job in CDM, do they ask for experience in the same field? As I have read a few job descriptions, I have an industry experience of 4 years in genetics and wanting to switch for growth. I think if you have the experience, I mean, ideally in the life science, definitely the experience does matter. Yeah. And that's where, more and more companies look for interns to train, mentor, and get them on board into that particular same field where they can grow within the organization and in the same field. Okay. So, net your the answer to your question is yes, the experience is needed if you want to get into specific data management, and if you have 4 years of experience, I think with genetics you have certain experience, but you might want to join as an early talent, where you will be trained and mentored, and you will still have an opportunity to grow from there.
ma'am, I think
Uh,
here we also have an alternative option where you can go for CDM certification courses and then get into entry level jobs.
so I hope this answers your question, Kinjal. We have questions from Samta, Akash, and Navya. So they have a similar questions. Like, they wanted to know, Akash wants to know that is it possible for an MSc student fresher to work in clinical data management? And similar question is from Navya, like for an MSc biotechnology student, like whether they are eligible to enter into CDM, and also Samta has a similar question like does there any job scope for fresher? So basically, most of the attendees wants to know, Shweta ma'am and Tanuja ma'am, that whether CDM has a scope for freshers and for the MSc graduates. So
Shweta, you
any
want to
of you
take
could.
or can I?
Yeah, ma'am, you can go forward. I'll just add on if something is needed.
All right, okay.
You're an
Yes,
expert
freshers.
into this.
Yeah, freshers do have the opportunities. I mean, those who have just completed their MSc and BSc in biotechnology, they definitely have the opportunities. The organizations conduct the campus interviews, and then, like, there are interviews that are scheduled, and if the candidate is good enough, we hire them as interns, and then we train them into clinical data management, and, like, we acquire them within the organization. So this is how, for the fresher. And as I already highlighted, as a career path, 0 to 2 years are no one but the freshers and the interns who come on board in the organization get a period of 3 months internship, and then, like, the company decides to enroll them into the organization.
Yeah, I just want to like add on to this. As a fresher, yeah, you have opportunities. Campus is always there, but also walk-ins are there at many places. If you all see, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Chennai has been a hub for clinical data management, even Mumbai for that purpose, Pune for that purpose. And a lot of companies are now giving work from home. Even if you go for a walk-in and work for a few months in a company, after 2 to 3 months, they are actually, if you're good at work, giving quality of work, they are shifting you all to work from home so that their money, whatever they invest in your transport, in your like coming to office, acquiring that place, and all that is being saved. Also, there is one question from Puri. Okay, uh, similar question where she's asking, "Ma'am, after 12th, which course is being like to get into CDM?" I think if I could like complete her question, uh, any life science degree, the basic life science degree, not the basic, but a life science degree into B Farm, MSc, BSc, biotech people can enter into clinical data management. Also, we have many doctors who have practiced for many years and then entering into clinical data management. So, clinical data management is actually open at any part of life. If you all want to get in as a fresher, it's there. Even if you want to have a good career background which is not related to CDM but something related to like drug development or patient management and all, you can enter into CDM. As far as I know, ma'am is a director, ma'am would be like able to put more light on this.
Yes, yes, I totally agree to what Shweta just mentioned.
Okay, so I hope it has the question has been answered. I request everyone to please post your questions. You are getting a golden opportunity where you can get your answer, will get your questions being answered in this live webinar. We have experts with us. So I will be taking two last questions. One question I will be taking of Sneha. She is currently in BTech in biotechnology and would like to know if students like her are eligible for internships in this field and what kind of opportunities are usually available and how she can apply.
Okay, I think we again lost
Uh,
connectivity with Tanuja ma'am. Yeah.
yeah.
Answering Sneha, Sneha has actually posted 2, 3 questions together. Yeah, Sneha, you are into second year BTech biotech. You are a second year BTech biotechnology student. Uh, Complete your degree first and then get into CDM. You will be welcomed into CDM as a fresher. Very sure on this. Entry level jobs are available for you. Now, this biotechnology is actually like merging bio and technology together. So, you already have a background for CDM. So, having a proper CDM course after you complete your degree can also get you, means land you to good jobs. So yes, BTech biotechnology people can also enter into CDM. See, I'll just summarize. CDM is open when you have a life science background. Now, that life science background can be your education or your field of work. There's one more question from Kinjal. She's
Okay,
asking,
I think Shweta, ma'am, I think we are running out of time, so I think we can quickly, as I mentioned, that I will be taking up just one last two questions. One has already been covered. Now, I would like to take one last question, which is from Soumya. Like she want to know that uh, can a job in abroad is possible in this field? So, if ma'am, you can quickly summarize the answer.
a lot of companies and people or consultancies abroad are hiring people from India. Why? Because Indian people know they don't follow these working hours ethics and all. They work like anything for them. So because of which they are like getting attracted towards Indian people because they work hard. And if you all have the knowledge that we as life science graduates have in India is much more than the knowledge that abroad people have as life science graduate. Many people from India go to many other countries, try to complete their education over there, come back here, and then they realize that our Indian education is much better than educations that is being offered like abroad. And people, even if we are going there and completing our educations, but yet they are hiring people from India who have completed educations in India, because we have a vast diversity into education, not only into population but also into education. So yeah, you can get a job in abroad. It's easy to get a job in abroad. Just you need to have a proper consultancy which can get you, which can help you through this.
Okay, thank you so much, Shweta ma'am. So, dear attendees, I know you have a lot of questions, but due to time constraint, we may not be able to take them right now. So, you can post your questions at cst@biotecnica.org and we'll be happy to answer them there. So, as we come to the close of today's insightful webinar, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to our esteemed speakers. I would like to thank Tanuja ma'am. Unfortunately, we have lost connection with ma'am again. But ma'am, insightful presentation on clinical data management is really it's really very informative, and the clarity she brought to career roles and opportunity for the life science and pharmacy freshers was truly valuable. Yeah, ma'am, we again lost connection with you in between. So I was just concluding the webinar, and I must say that thank you for such an insightful presentation, ma'am, on clinical data management. You have brought a clarity to the career roles and opportunities, and I'm sure like many attendees have these questions in their mind, like being a fresher, can I get a job in CDM, or is there any kind of experience required? So you have your presentation has really brought clarity to what kind of career roles and opportunities are there for the freshers, and even like how professionals can grow, as you shared your personal experience. So that is really helpful, ma'am, and we really appreciate your time and expert guidance.
Thank you so much, and it's my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me for this presentation, and it's really great interacting with you. And I know I couldn't interact with the students, but then I'm really sorry. All that I would say is because of the power cut issues, I was not able to be on continuous. So I'm really sorry for that.
No,
No,
ma'am,
it's
don't be
okay,
sorry.
ma'am.
Actually,
Yeah, we totally
monsoon is being
understand.
harsh this year. Monsoon is
Yeah.
like running us like anything
Yeah,
this
at
year.
many places this is the condition
Yeah.
we are facing. So, but still, you took out time from your busy schedule, and thank you for the wonderful presentation, ma'am. Also, I would like to thank Ms. Shweta Birajdar, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for your insightful session on essential skills, tools, and qualifications which are needed to excel in clinical data management, and especially your guidance on certification, software tools, and career progression and industry tips were immensely valuable. We appreciate your time and expertise. And also, I would like to thank all the participants for your active participation and enthusiasm. For sure, clinical data management is indeed a fast growing field, and with the right knowledge, skills, and strategy, a successful and fulfilling career in this field is well within your reach. So, if today's webinar has sparked your interest, don't miss the chance to gain hands-on experience and expert mentorship. You can join our clinical data management certification course, which begins on 10th June. So stay connected, stay informed, and take care. Thank you.
Stay safe and blessed, guys. Thank you.